Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Minnesota RØKKR co-stream. My name is Ashley, aka MiDNiTE, back with IKON in the booth. We're not in a booth, we're just at our setups from home. But hey, man, we're stoked because it's the beginning of Stage 5 IKON. It's getting kicked off today. We've had the literal longest break we've had in the CDL all year, all season, 2 weeks between Stage 4 and 5 now. So I mean, what are you most looking forward to getting back into the matches here today?
Yeah, it's been a 2-week break, and then I was out like a week before that. So it feels like it's been a month since I've been in here. I'm just pumped to watch some COD, break it down again, get back into it. But when it comes to Stage 5, I think there's a couple storylines. I think, first of all, whoever ends up in second, third, and fourth seed, so Dallas, Toronto, NYSL, are all either 5 or 10 points apart. So that placing is going to be super important because whoever ends up with that second seed does get that first round bye. So super important, whoever ends up finishing there. And then the other storyline would be 6, 7, and 8. So right now, Minnesota has 200 CDL points, LA Thieves has 180, and Florida has 170. So depending on what happens there, the 7th and the 8th seed at champs starts in the lower bracket. So pretty important to get that 6th seed there so that you can afford yourselves to at least have one loss before you're eliminated from champs. I know it's a long ways away, but that should be what everybody's playing for throughout this 5th stage. And then the other storyline would just be here in Group B, what we have to do to make sure that we're securing ourselves a winner's bracket berth as we did in the previous stage. This is a match against LAG that we have to have if you're looking for that path to 3 wins, which in most cases does get you that winner's bracket berth. You have to beat the 2 teams that are at the bottom of your group, which happens to be LAG and Seattle. So take care of business there. The one that will be up in the air will be the 3 versus 4 seed matchup between Minnesota and Florida once that finally comes. And then the 2 matches with the teams that are above us with Dallas and Toronto. So this matchup today against LAG, just have to take care of business, get those 10 CDL points, and start the group off 1-0.
That's the freaking plan, man. I mean, you look at the Group B, man, it is just insane. All the teams in CDL are really good, but man, most of them, in my opinion, are in Group B. It's going to be kind of nutty. Today we talk about it all the time. Like, you got to win the matches you're supposed to win. And I know it's CDL, it's competitive COD. Like, there's no supposed to or guaranteed dub on any given day. But if you're looking at the rankings, I mean, they were just showing the statistics that LAG players have been putting up this season so far. We've got to capitalize on this match and make sure that we start 1-0. So actually, I mean, lots of interesting stuff kind of going down. You had the recent rumor, I guess it was confirmed, and then now we're gonna have to see how it kind of goes today. But the rumor of Attach switching to the assault rifle and then Priestess switching down to the sub. We'll see what they look like today and how it's kind of going. I don't know, man. With that change, we talked about it on the podcast, so I won't belabor the point, but I think that could lead to some positivity for us. But I'm not sure, if the change that LAG has made recently with taking Chino off of the starting roster and putting Billy Mental on the starting roster, if that change is going to actually kind of help them out. Because, was it Silly was using a submachine gun for quite a while and that was not going well? So do you think Billy's coming in or Mental's coming in to rock a sub?
Yeah, my best guess, that's what he ran in Challengers. So my guess would be Apathy and Mental at the subs and then move Silly back to the flex with, of course, Assault at the main AR. Biggest thing here, I don't know if, what goes on in the, the Twitter world or whatnot, but there was kind of some tweets and some rumors that LAG played their academy squad, which Chino obviously is on now. And apparently in an 8-map count, LAG Academy beat their main team 8-0. Now, that was probably pretty early after they went ahead and made this change. I'm sure that they've had a week or two to try to iron out some of the details in terms of what their main squad is trying to do. But if you're looking at it as a whole, just trying to plug players in certain spots, taking Silly, putting him back to the flex, I think that's probably where he feels most natural. So we'll see what the chemistry looks like between Mental and Apathy. I think that's super important. And then having Silly back to a flex on paper seems like it makes a bit more sense, but that's on paper. We have to see how they come out and play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's like too late for LAG this year at this point. I think they would have to win stage 5 to make champs at this point, right? That's probably a MiDNiTE stat. It's probably wrong, but they'd have to go absolutely off to be able to kind of catch up here, and get back into the swing of things. So I'm obviously, I mean, so I was a member of Optic Gaming for 9 years. Billy Mental was a professional Gears of War player for Optic Gaming for a few years, and they were by far, I mean, you talk about dynasty teams, we talk about that all the time. Optic Gaming was a dynasty team in Gears of War. They walked into every event with their head held high, talking that smack, and they would win. They won so many championships. So Mental, it's not like he's just some, like, I don't want to say random amateur, because I think if you're an amateur player and you've made your way to the league, you're not random. But so Mental's not like your typical, like, oh yeah, he came from challengers. He did, but also he's a revered Gears of War console FPS. Well, it's not an FPS because Gears of War is third-person shooter. You know what I'm saying?
We got
a console shooter champion, all right? So we'll see. I mean, maybe the difference of first person, we'll have to see. And this is actually going to be his debut, I believe. Yeah, like debut into CDL. I know last year there were some Halo guy debuts. It was pretty cool to follow, and now we'll kind of see how Mental does. I'm a big fan of Mental. I mean, obviously, like we lived in the same apartment building down in Texas. We'd hang out. He's a good kid. I'm excited to see how he does, but I do hope that they don't win. Sorry, Mental, because I want RØKKR to win, baby. We need to start 1-0, man. We need to start strong. So let's take a look at the maps here and what we've got going on. I mean, shoot, looking at the hard point records is so hard, like, because we were just so rough on that game mode for so long. But we've got hard point Garrison coming up first, Search and Destroy on Raid, Control on Raid. Hey, there she is. There she's back. Hard point Checkmate, and Search and Destroy Moscow. So I mean, honestly, for LEG's like score and overall record and performance lately, like their records in these maps aren't terrible, like as bad as I thought they would be. But I mean, break it down a little bit, Icon. What are the map records here for the maps? And do you think that we won the vetoes? Have we won before we've won?
Yeah, again, like you mentioned, just looking at what the records look like initially, it might not be like, okay, well, we have a better record here, here, and so on and so forth. But a lot of those, like for instance, Hardpoint Garrison, that's a map that we've been playing pretty strong on for the last stage and a half, basically since Standy came aboard. Just his aggression and how he likes to play really does when it comes to Garrison in specific. And there's really just one true lane on that map with his aggression and his ability to slay out right in the middle of the map. That has turned into a map both in Hardpoint and in Control that I think that we're pretty good on it. And that's good because especially in Control, we feel comfortable on Raid Control, which we're going to see today, but being good at Garrison Control also just gives us that another option where we can play both Raid, they can play or Garrison, like the other team, whoever you're playing can't take out both of those maps. So when I look at these, it might not be the best matchup when you're just looking at records, but all of that, it combines all 4 stages this year. And sometimes, like at the beginning of the year, we weren't the best hardpoint squad, and now that's kind of turned around a bit. Biggest thing that I look at here is that LAG is a pretty good S&D squad. If you look at their record throughout the course of the year, when it comes to S&D, they're 18-18, so they're 500 on the year. But if you look at the other modes, they're not even close to 500. So overall, I think they're like the 6th or 7th best S&D squad in the CDL. So that map 2, S&D on Raid, my guess might be that if we're going to struggle in any of these maps, it might be map 2, but I just don't see throughout the course of these 5 maps how they would come through and beat us in a respawn. I think Hardpoint Garrison, we should win that one fairly easily. S&D Raid will be a toss-up. We've seen us play pretty well on S&D Raid as of late. I think Control Raid, obviously, our best control map overall. So Map 1, Map 3 should definitely go our way. The interesting map here, which might throw a little wrench into things, will be that Map 4 Checkmate Hardpoint. So we're 3-6, they're 2-6, and this is a map that we just saw this recently against Optic. I think the finish in that map was like 250 to 180, somewhere in there. Optic is a really good hardpoint checkmate squad, but that's a map that we really haven't seen all that often. It's been a part of our vetoes. I don't want to say every match, but a majority of the matches we try to avoid checkmate hardpoint. So I don't know if this is just a scenario where we know LAG is not good at it. They have a 2-6 record, like we mentioned earlier. So if we're going to play it, maybe this is an opportunity to get another rep on it and just try to improve. So overall, I think win maps 1 and 3, 2 could probably be a toss up. And then from there should win map 4. And if it goes to map 5, I like our record on map 5, Moscow SND also.
Moscow's looking good. Yeah, I mean, we talk about like you have to go into these map records with a little bit of recency bias. And yes, maybe I am just saying that because our hardpoint records are pretty rough, but we really have been looking better on the mode lately. I do agree that Guerrillas, they always look good on search. You know, all those guys are quite good at search. I'm not sure they'll be able to hang in the respawns. I believe, do you remember, did we predict the same score for this match on the podcast? I predicted 3-1, I believe. I think I said respawns and they might take a search.
That sounds familiar. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was either 3-0 or 3-1. I can never remember
what I predicted. I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right. Chad, I would love to know your predictions for the match going up against LAG here. LAG's been on the struggle bus. They've got a new player in Mental on their lineup. I think it's decently safe to say they're not going to make champs. So what are they playing for? They're playing for, you know, Mental's trying to impress, right? Like, it's not chalked for Mental, right? He's got to come in, show off, and try to make sure that he either stays on this team next season or gets onto another one, right? This is a big moment for him to do that, and we need to come correct and make sure that our rookie and Standy can, you know, maybe give him a little lesson or two. Yeah, we got some 3-1s in the chat. Hey, there we go. And Great Minds Think Alike. I'm pretty sure that you did 3-1 as well.
We both said 3-1, yeah.
What's up, Dominic? How you doing, man? How's it going? Yo, I'm stoked, though, just to get back into the swing. Like, yes, I'm mostly anticipating champs. It's not that far away. Like, I'm looking forward to it so much. But what I want to see is just, let's get back in this swing, baby. It's been off for 2 weeks. We've had a full 2 weeks off of Call of Duty, which is obscene compared to how much we've seen, you know, this year. So I guess, like, I mean, I don't want to, like, is there a standout player? I think obviously LAG is, let's see how Mental plays. But did you take anything from whether it's last stage or what you're wanting to see in anyone on the RØKKR roster this stage? Like, who do you think needs to, like, come out and show they're improving and they're going to help us, you know, stamp some aggression and momentum going into champs?
Yeah, I think personally the easy answer here would just be Attach getting back to the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 performance that we got out of Attach. We did see him, and just in terms of his numbers overall, slide a little bit in stage 4. It's not like he came out and was dropping 0.6s or something. It's just he was so consistent the first 2 stages of the year that we just kind of thought that we would get that throughout the entirety of the year. Now, there could be that mid-season lull where it's stage 4. We've been playing for months. Like, it could be tough to just motivate yourself match after match after match. So I would like to see him get back to that Attach that we saw early on when it comes to stage 1 and stage 2. When it comes to Standy, just continue to play how he's been playing since he came aboard. I think that really is the number one key to success. We saw when Standy came aboard and just the pressure and the overall aggression that he plays with, it really did fuel the squad and kind of turn things around a bit. I think right before that, we were a little bit nervous. Like, we were hanging out in that 7th, 8th, 9th spot in CDL points.
Scary
and then
place to be, man.
It is a scary place to be. And then he came in and he gelled perfectly. He was able to go on a roll. And now all of a sudden we're definitely clear of that 9th spot. We've got like 100-point CDL point lead. So like to see Attach return to what we saw from like stage 1 and stage 2. Would like to see Standy just continue the playing the way that he's been playing. And also, one last note here on LAG is this could also be a move for them. I think that they see the writing on the wall. I think they see that, they're down by 70 CDL points in terms of being in that 8th spot, probably not going to be able to make it up. So I think that this is an opportunity where they're thinking, we have mental on our bench. We're not going to win stage 5, at least. Most people wouldn't predict them to win stage 5. We have to see what he's worth, what he can do when he's on the main stage. And if he plays well, now maybe this is a building block. This is a piece that they can build off of going into next year's season. So I don't think like Chino was playing bad or anything like that. It's just they had him there. Let's go ahead. Let's see what we've got laying on our bench.
Yeah, like I said, I know mental. He's a good guy. I'm excited to see how he does.
Yep.
We got some 3-0 hype in the chat. I love that. Ooh. I love that. Yo, Silo in the chat asks, who's going to Up Down on the 16th? That's a great question, Silo. I'm so excited. Next week, obviously, guys, is the Minnesota RØKKR home series. Now, obviously, it's still an online Call of Duty group stage event, right? The matches are not happening in Minnesota. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. But we are going to be doing lots of fun stuff next week in the Twin Cities area if you're interested. So on Thursday, there's going to be a watch party at Waconia Brewing in Waconia, Minnesota. Shout out to them. That's going to be a good time. Bar watch party, super good time. And then on Friday, we're actually, I can't remember if I could say what we're premiering. We're doing something really cool at Up Down on Friday. It's going to be a good time, man, because we actually play Thursday and Sunday that weekend, but we're still active all weekend, baby. So yeah, on Friday, we're going to be at Up Down in Minneapolis. It's like an arcade bar type of thing. It's going to be a good time. I'm super stoked to see everybody there. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we will have a presence and a booth at Minnesota Twin Cities Pride Festival. Super excited to have the team be a part of that. I love going to Pride. It's such a fun time. And I'm excited to, bring more Minnesotan gaming fans into the fold. That's the plan anyway. I'm super stoked. And then we're not done yet, baby. You thought that was fun? Let's go. We're going to be playing on Sunday night versus Dallas Empire. I think it's at 5 p.m. Central. And next Sunday, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday for the RØKKR home series, we'll be having a big watch party at another bar called McGovern's in St. Paul. So I'm super stoked to see everybody there. It's going to be a good time. IKON, you're coming up, right? You're coming up, man.
Yep.
Come hang out, dude.
1,000%.
Have you ever been to Minnesota?
We'll be doing one of these co-streams in person.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm so stoked. Yeah, we got a little setup at the HQ. Actually, I think we're going to be doing the co-stream from HQ on Thursday. It'll be fun. And then I believe we're going to be on site at McGovern's on Sunday for that match. So we'll be live in person. I'm super stoked, though. It feels to me that this pre-game stuff is going super long. Usually the match is started by now, so I hope everything's all right. I guess okay. They stole your keys to victory, IKON. That's crazy.
I know.
Attach needs to have breakout stage. He does. I mean, Attach played so well in the first, I would say 3 stages, 2.5, 3 stages. Super, super solid. And if he can get back to that, oh man, I'm feeling good going into champs. I really am. So you said you think 3-1 we're going to win the respawns and then they're going to win a search?
Yep, we both said 3-1 in our predictions on Tuesday.
Nice, dude. Dude, I went perfect in my predictions.
You did.
Yesterday. I'm pretty proud of that. Too bad it was only a 2-match day. I'm going to catch up to you, dude. I'm not even that far. I mean, I'm far behind, but I'm not that far. If you start choking, I might be able to pass you in prediction points. We'll see.
I mean, you gained 5 points. Let's not jump the gun here.
That's a dub, all right? That's a dub. Let's see how today goes. Who did you predict? What are the next matches? Did you predict? Who plays next?
What did we predict? I'm trying to bring up the predictions here.
Oh, I remember the first ones were really quick. They're really...
Subliners and Thieves. Actually, this could be a big swing here because you had Thieves pulling an upset, and I said a 3-0 for New York.
There you go. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm out here making moves in the prediction points, and I do think it's possible that Thieves could win. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. Anyway, guys, it looks like map 1 Garrison Hardpoint is about to start up. We've been looking pretty good on this map recently. I do expect us to play well in the respawns today here versus LAG. So let's see if we can do that. It's all about the execution, baby. IKON and I will be back in between the maps, and we'll see you guys then.
Let's go.
Now alongside Mental, Silly does switch to the flex, and we will look through the eyes of the 22-time Gears champion, now making his official debut in Call of Duty, in the CDL. A lot of people hyped to see his performance, what he can do for this team, and I guess the one positive is he'll walk away with his first kill stud is the fact that he knows what it's like to be on a top caliber team. He knows what it's like to be the best player on arguably the best team in the world back in the day, in that Gears team.
Yeah, and it's not like he's coming into this completely blinded. He was on LAG's academy team the entire year so far, so he's just been getting reps after reps after reps, waiting for his opportunity to finally present itself, and now it's here. Now it's all about just making sure you show up to the moment, and he's not a player that's going to shy from it, as this guy, like you said, 22 World Championships is not an easy task to get done, even if it's in a different title. The guy knows what it takes to win, and hopefully he's going to show it here.
Yeah, I actually got a chance to take a look at a great content piece that the Guerrillas franchise had released, and they said one of their favorite things is about his style. I mean, you could argue coming in, you know, being as successful as he's been in other titles, he doesn't have an ego whatsoever. He just wants to learn the game, and he's also very good at having the ability to play his life. There's a number of different wonderful attributes as the LAG side off to a great start. Two players coming in from multiple directions. Standing Major Maniac successful to start off, desperately trying to hunt for some kills inside of P2. That's going to be 3 down. RØKKR looking to try to still break on in. No success yet. 30 more points still left to grab.
That was such a great job right there at LAG, because there were a couple players who spawned out towards P3. Minnesota, they put a lot of pressure in towards inner bricks, and they eventually flipped those spawns. With Silly and Assault did a great job of just picking up kill after kill, as they are on a 5 spree combined between each other, picking up this remaining time. Now it's all about the rotation, but Minnesota, they put themselves in a position to at least be there early. Now it's all about winning this early's engagements, and that's what Major Maniac is able to do, able to find one. Trigger discipline, unfortunately, is going to cost Apathy that kill, and now Minnesota will be fully set up for that P3, but the pressure's still coming in from LAG towards the middle of the map.
And RØKKR currently with spawns, looking to try to fire back into this game. A solid lead early on for LAG, but that could quickly dissipate, especially when we talk about a hill like P3. But I thought the conversation in regards to the hardpoint stud is often going to be on the Guerrillas, no matter what roster they face off against, just considering that they have lost their last 12 hardpoints in a row. They didn't win a single hardpoint in Stage 4. Hoping to try to change that. I guess I could ask you, like, I know they have a new player in Mental, but what really was the primary cause, you think, to what has been a very lackluster performance so far throughout our Game 1 and our Game 4 of a series?
Well, when we watch LAG, it's been the same story, at least throughout all of Stage 4. When they are set up early, they allow the other team to break in the first 10 seconds. And then when they're not set up, they don't have the ability to break into the hard points. So that's why you see Minnesota, they were able to get a good chunk of time to fight themselves back into this game and eventually flip these spawns. So this is where LAG need to show improvements. They need to be able to break into this P4 and not allow Minnesota to try to earn some streaks, as Major Maniac is already on a 5.
And that is a big kill that Silly is going to find there on the Major Maniac. Shuts down the streaks and also finds his 3rd in a row for his troubles. Nearly makes it 4 as LAG look to storm on in toward bottom tank. And oftentimes on a map like Garrison, when we discuss, you know, communication, it can come in super in handy in these next 2 hills because of the close quarter fights and because of the crazy spawns. Let's go to our Astro list, and now on topic with it for the LA Guerrillas.
Top green, he's slid.
Not done. One more on you. Clear. Let's go quick. He's green. One shot. Push on left side.
For Sandy, dead.
Top
green.
Let's shop. Attach is one shot. He is one shot. I'm in L.
Where's the left side?
Pull left.
My green top grades, I can't say it. I'm gonna spawn out.
I got him.
That shit might spawn here.
I got attached.
Hold on.
I'm on shot. I got nade. He's out of bricks.
Green Mike, absolute green Mike.
Attach one, good job.
Arch new Arch dead. Mike is green.
Get him bricks,
Mike is green. We are
green. Good job,
we are speed somewhere. I don't know.
Mid. Dead.
Actually, I'm gonna Mike green. That's Mike.
They're gonna be
Sandy one
Aisle's
shot.
open.
There's two stats.
I've got your ult.
One shot.
Look my mid.
I wrap left. They're reload. Be triple to mid.
I'm shot.
Mid challenging me. Pressure mid. Dead.
He's behind
Tell me,
us.
guys.
After the hill.
Actually, one
Break
cell.
still in.
Look at my
Attach
ult.
one shot.
He's behind you.
Daddy. All right. I'll look at Zell.
Let's go. Let's go.
Go green, Billy.
I'm on shot.
Cat steps. Great shot.
He's not moving. He's not moving.
Wrapping left with you.
That's not
Give me
being
a sec. Let's go double green here.
Yeah,
I'm working with you, Brian.
Wait for me.
Hold on.
Yeah,
He's
BL.
reset.
I'm about to help him. Fuck, I jumped out of the map. Mike is radio.
He's
Mike is
hiding.
radio. Mike's radio.
He's on 3.
I'm wrapping left again.
I'm repping left for Mike. Hey, can I hit mid now?
Yeah, I'm picking up.
Triple.
Is that being right?
Nice coordination toward the end of our first set of rotations there for the Guerrillas as they find themselves in a pretty good spot. Assault, meanwhile, sitting nearly double positive for the time, 17 and 10. And so I feel like oftentimes when we talk about LAG, we've talked about a number of different players. I know Apathy often is one that we discuss in terms of slang, but I mean, it cannot be understated. Like, Assault, he can become at times a top 5, top 10 AR in the entire game. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's been somewhat of a slower season for him, and he's always some guy that, or rather one guy that I'm looking at to potentially be the breakout player, the consistent main AR for this team.
And so far, he's doing it, man. And when we went for that listen, and Assault was really leading in the comms, just making sure he was putting his SMG players in the proper spots to eventually set himself up to pick up those easy kills. And this is great because that was one thing that, when they made that roster change, when they put Chino out, I was wondering who was going to be their vocal leader. And right now, it feels like Assault is really stepping up to the plate for his team. Now, in this situation, though, Minnesota, they have a lot of pressure towards bricks, so the spawns are going to be able to flip. LAG, once again, have to try to hold this from the front side, and doing a great job of doing so, as Silly and Assault use some great teamwork to get 2 down.
Yeah, we constantly have talked about Silly throughout stage 4. The SMG just did not look comfortable on it. Puts in 2 major kills. Hold off the first wave of Minnesota RØKKR. As like we said, they do have the spawns. Few players coming in from different directions. Priesthood being one. Major just looking to try to put down some cover fire, but no one is there yet for the challenge. Just trying to chip away at what is this solid setup right now from the Guerrillas. Stanny's able to drop 1. As he and Major Maniac look to coordinate, that will be the final player dropping. So it took some time, Stud, but it takes a good 45 seconds, despite RØKKR having spawns, to finally get inside of the hill. And while they're able to do that, now it is a race toward our next hard point. If you take a look at it, Silly and Assault, they're not there yet.
Yeah, so it's going to be huge rotation battles for Apathy and his teammate in Mental. Mental's actually going to drop it. Apathy does find 2 across the map. His teammates are eventually back into play. Apathy eventually finds the 3rd with the nade. So LAG, that was the best hardpoint I've seen them play, at least off the rotation in the last month and a half. They were able to get a good chunk of time off of that P2 and keep the spawns for that P3 to start off with that initial time. Fully set up. They're going to force all of Minnesota to try to break in through middle, and time is eventually starting to tick. LAG getting closer to that 200-point mark. Assault really having himself a game so far.
Great performance from Adam Assault. Mental tries to get involved in the fray towards shot, but really it's his life that has to be sacrificed for the good of the team. Nearly 200 points reached for the Guerrillas. Keeping in mind, Apathy, it's on 5 in a row. How great could streaks be right now for LAG as they look to try and find their first hardpoint victory since the stage 3 major? Could it be now? They've reached the double century mark, and now we're in toward our next hill. Major was aware of the possible flank, but as Apathy snuck through, he's not. Nice play, nice read there for Major as we're within 50.
Yeah, so now Minnesota, they have the opportunity to get themselves back into this game and even tie it up. It's all about just shutting down this push from Dark, shutting down this push from Tools. But Mental's able to find that kill onto Standy, so the opening is going to be in towards Cat Steps. Apathy finds a second. Eventually, you have to relocate, get off of this hard point. But LAG, they're able to break in. 35 seconds remaining on this P4 hard point. Minnesota, no, they cannot give up this time to LAG because it's basically going to be a GG. But they find 3, and now they're able to get onto this remaining 25 seconds, still forcing all of LAG to spawn out towards that back P3 area. It's all about just making sure you're winning this engagement, getting this good time, but making sure you're keeping that top green control for that rotation to P5.
Great coordination right now from Minnesota. Keeping in mind, a few players not toward the back. Just a nice snap there from Standy. He's the sole man inside of the hard point. That's going to be 4 in a row for him. 214, 191. And as we mentioned, just a few players to look out for. Currently a split spawn. Only player on the opposite side now is going to be Assault. Mental looks to try and stay alive inside of the hill. And that's going to be 2 in a row now for LAG. Assault does get cut down, and the streak will be extended once more from Standy. LAG inside of the hill now. The map position that we thought could haunt them, in fact, ends up rewarding them in the end. What can Minnesota do with the position? They actually do spawn toward the back tank, so this could be a great opportunity for them. It also could be an issue in regards to the spawns. It's silly. That's going to be 5 in a row for him. Players getting cut down left and right. Out of the spawn they go. Can they even get to the hill in time? Can anybody get a foot inside? Silly still hanging on. It is a crossfire for LAG, and the streak, just like that, is over.
Wow, what a great hard point right there out of LAG. Once again, man, the problems that they had in this game mode was that they weren't able to get good holds, and they weren't able to break initially when the team was holding off the better rotation and keeping the better spawns. But they completely switched the flip. I mean, switched the flip on its head on this map right here. They were able to break in, at least hold that P2 for a huge 45 seconds, but then keep that rotation towards that P3 was the biggest turning point in this game, because they were able to chain a couple points together and then eventually get closer to that finish line, get it all the way to a P5, and they were able to get the job done. Good job out of LAG on that map number 1.
Absolutely. They switched the flip, they flipped the switch. They do everything that they had to.
Yeah, I mean, flip the switches, everything.
I'll tell you what, man, like that was an impressive game. Like there was just a number of different moments where, you know, at times previously for LAG they start to crumble, but not at all the same case when Assault goes 28 and 21, lays down 5K worth of damage. I mean, at what point was double positive? He was really kind of leading this team in slang, but I mean, I guess that's the overall difference maker. Is Assault maybe even Silly stepping up now in the flex role?
Just like we both predicted, IKON, we were like, yeah, 3-1, RØKKR will win the respawns. We'll be in and out of here, baby. And then, wow, LAG said, no, hold that. You guys think you've been playing better on Hardpoint Garrison lately? Psych. And they just, I mean, from the get, they snowballed that whole dang game. What was, like, your impression of, like, how did that happen? I mean, Mental didn't come in and have a psycho game or anything like that. So how did we get here?
Yeah, I think when it comes to Hardpoint Garrison, there are 2 super important rotations. I think when you're talking about money hills, there's P2 and P3. Outside of that, P1, P4, P5, those are all pretty contested. And essentially that rotation on both the first set of rotations and second set of rotations, we didn't have initial P2 setup, and by the time we were able to flip, there was only like 10 or 15 seconds left. So when you're pushing old with 15 seconds left and you don't win the rotation over towards P3, you're given the majority of that time on both of those money hills to LAG, and that ended up being the difference. So when it comes to, you know, who popped off, who didn't, obviously Assault had a really good game, dropping 5K damage. That was 500 or 1,000 more damage than anybody on our squad, but the most important was just winning those rotations. On the second set of rotations from P2 to P3, we did have a 3v2 on rotations, and we just lost the 3v2. They clutched up. They were able to nade. I believe it was Attach who was the last person back trying to hold spawns. They naded him out of that back right location. They were able to get the time in P3. So overall, it is what it is. Might have been just a couple sloppy rotations, not being able to hold P3, but it's been a couple weeks off here, so just have to rebound. And we thought we would win map 1 and lose map 2. Now we just have to flip it on its head. We lost map 1 to try to come back in the raid S&D.
Yeah, let's make sure that we try to keep our predictions true here, RØKKR. Let's do a 3. Well, let's just win the next 3 maps so that IKON and I can both get our prediction points. Worth noting, Attach, using a submachine gun. Priesta,
yep,
using an assault rifle. Sometimes a sub, it looked like, but yeah, it looks like we're still in the same setup. So I don't know if they changed their mind, or if they never, no, because they said on stream that they had changed. So they must, I don't know if it's like a matchup thing or if they just decided to change back. But interestingly enough, all this drama this last week of, oh, big role change. The only thing changing around here is the dinner rolls. I don't know. I'm sorry. I tried. I'm excited. Let's go into this map too. We have looked a little shaky on Search and Destroy. Started at the beginning of the year, so good. Started, the middle of the year, don't want to talk about it. Major MiDNiTE comes on, and there's no instant improvement in Search and Destroy, which was probably a unrealistic expectation in my mind that I had. But they have been slowly improving at the game mode, and I think, you know, Raid, Search and Destroy, they looked really good on just recently. So I think this is where we can turn it around. You know, we expected to maybe lose a map here in this series, but I do still think like we can take this one, knocking on wood a little bit, because now I feel a little bit like a jinx. So I'm a little nervous, dude. Do you think, was there like anything that stuck out, like player wise, of like who played good, who played, you know, not as good as you'd like to see? Or was it literally just, it comes down to the fundamentals and winning those rotations?
Yeah, I mean, you could go in and you could say that, okay, Priesta went 14 and 21 and he was -7, whatever. But it's more about like how timely those deaths are. So had he been holding rotation and he died, obviously that's super important. If he was just holding down a hard point and he died, then it's really not all that important. So it's really just how timely those deaths are and the locations in which they're in. But now we did make a bit of a point earlier about LAG being a pretty good S&D squad. For the year, they're 18 and 18 in S&D and we're 17 and 19. So we're basically right on par with each other. Even when you look at the records on this map, we've played it a bit more. We're 5-5, they're 4-2. I think a lot of this is just going to come down to how well Standy plays. Just him being able to be aggressive, get kills in the middle of the map, open up that P5 area so that both of those bomb sites you can access and get plants down.
Who you got for first blood, Icon? Chat,
Standy.
let me know who you got for Standy. I was going to say Standy. I love seeing a Standy ring rush. Let's see if he's going to do it. Chat, let us know who you think's about to get first blood, and we'll see you guys after the surge.
In S&D, attached, not a great performance in stage 4, right around a 0.5 throughout that stage.
Yes. That's not good, man. It's not good if you're attached, because you live and breathe through S&D. I remember he was running through artillery strikes and everything back in the day in his prime in Search and Destroy. So he needs to get back into that form. But right there, you see the first blood coming in from Minnesota. Great kill onto Apathy. Puts them in an early man advantage. You see Mental. He's going to be able to keep up that pace. Able to take down Standy. Give the information to his teammates that the bomb is going to be down. So now with 50 seconds left, it's all left in a 3v3. Minnesota, they have to try to at least work towards this bomb. The only player in this position is going to be MiDNiTE. He has to try to take his time and towards this top bedroom area.
Have to make work done quick. And if you're MiDNiTE, you at least want to find one. How about the turn on to Silly? Finds the headshot. And very well could find a second in this round. Mental looking to try to play his life, trying to buy some time for his teammates, but Mental quickly turns into the final player. Got a little bit scary toward bottom mansion once Standy fell with the bomb, but again, man, it comes down to this play for MiDNiTE. Nice little 180 for style. I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, he uses his headset right there. As soon as he heard that first hop up, he just turns around, hits with a little bit of pre-fire, able to hit all the bullets onto Silly. But right there, I feel like LAG, they had no idea that MiDNiTE was going to be in towards that top window. That play plays out totally different if they are able to at least spot him or at least eliminate him from that position. But MiDNiTE does a great job of just finding 2 kills and eventually closing out the round for his team. So now LAG are on the response, on their own offense. We know how they like to play, nice and slow and steady, trying to find some early picks, but you see number 1 in Mental. It's only a matter of time before he decides to hit that flank and set up this pinch towards the middle of the map.
The only problem for him is that Priesta is watching that water lane. Meanwhile, the SMGs have made themselves quite comfortable in the middle side of the map. Attach and Standy, getting some information, and off the rock, everybody's hitting some lovely trick shots. And can he find the second one onto Mental? Attach, pretty wild plays to start, as Assault may have found the information that he needs on Major, but not at all the case. MiDNiTE is hitting beams right now. As we're into the 3 versus 2, LAG a man down. Mental, meanwhile, does in fact grab the bomb. With 30 seconds left, the hungry Priesta is right around the corner. P-Dog seals the deal, and now it is left up to Silly all by himself. 25 seconds on the clock. The bomb, by no means in a favorable position, but what can he do? Round the corner he goes, and Attaches there to take him down. Another solid round there from RØKKR.
Let me tell you, if I'm Apathy, I'm not trying to go anywhere towards the middle of the map. That's 2 times he's been wall banged through this wall right here. When he came out of kitchen and right there, even on the offensive pushes, he was holding the steps. So try to stay away from that, App. Just go around it. Just let your teammates at least focus on that. Just don't give them the first blood, because that's 2 that go in favor of Minnesota so far in this game. But now Minnesota, they find themselves on another offense. LAG, they need a response here. Cannot let this game get out of hand early. as the pressure from Minnesota is going to come in towards that A bomb. The only player here is going to be Silly, but all the pressure from LAG is going to be in towards the middle of the map. So how do they decide to play this? They're going to fully take control of Longji and eventually work this bomb plant. I love this play right here out of Minnesota.
What you call kind of an uneven setup, if you will, from the Guerrillas side. But can that quickly begin to change? Priest does get caught out toward the statue. And with that, LAG, we know how great that they can be in their retakes, how coordinated of a roster this can be, as Attach does get dinged up, escapes with 58 HP. But it is the Guerrillas who are going to have to make the move from afar. Attach just looking to lay down some shots before he could potentially be taken down. But Silly's still here, trying to reiterate some information. His mental drops, and Silly loses the longest 1v1 so far of the game. And there goes Apathy, a quick little trade toward the stretch, but it is 3 up and 3 down from RØKKR. LAG, we thought for a moment it could have been good, somewhat of an uneven setup as we labeled it, but just never really able to get anything going in the retake.
Yeah, it was all on Attach right there. Attach was the playmaker on that round. He was the player that was holding Silly on the backside towards that back jungle area, throwing consistent shoulder, just keeping him pre-aiming, keeping him there to not allow the pinch to come in. And then eventually he turns around, puts a couple shots into the opposing players coming outside of Art, picks up some easy kills for Standy, and then eventually takes care of Silly. Once you pick up that kill, all you have to do is focus on the players coming in through raid. They find every single kill, and Minnesota find themselves up 3-0. Good round right there.
Identical score lines right now from the Guerrillas, 1 and 3 from all 4 players. Standy looking to only add to that, as that's going to be 1 Priesta for the second. Might as well make it a third. Good night. Art will be the final resting place, and I don't think anybody from LAG even got a kill. I think it's 4 kills through 4 rounds from the Guerrillas, totally changing the tide of the way that we thought this game could go. So we talked about, hey, first hard point, Guerrillas, cool. Now they're going to carry that into the search and destroy. We were talking about map, performances for both rosters, but RØKKR, they have just come out and punched Guerrillas, quite frankly, right in the mouth.
Yeah, LAG, this is the thing that I was scared of. When you form a new roster, the game mode that you tend to struggle with the most is search and destroy. And right now, it's definitely showing, man. Minnesota, they are a well-oiled machine, at least on this map, as they are already up 4-0. They're just playing super confident, and this is a good response after the way that they lost that map number 1. They probably weren't expecting to do so, but now they found themselves in a position to at least tie this series up. Another aggressive bomb plant, this time around going towards B. Fortunately, the bomb's not going to get off. Assault's going to be able to get that first blood, and now Minnesota, they have to try to work that bomb plant in a man disadvantage.
It's so awkward, too, just because we talk about water side. You easily get exposed, not just to the sun rays, but to the multiple gun barrels of the opposition, as that will be another kill found, this time for Apathy. Major and Attach now left in the 2 versus 4, as they'll see the other side of raid for a moment. Literally just looking to try to get any bit of information that they can, maybe even extend a streak or 2, because you got to imagine a few RØKKR players are sitting on that. Not sure if Major was or Attach was. Nothing yet to be found. Major could, in fact, get into a gunfight with Apathy, but we know how this one's going to go. This is going to go the way of LAG. Attach, able to drop the first kill of the round for RØKKR. And that may be the last one.
Yeah,
There's
they don't even have enough time to work this bomb plant. It's all about just picking up a couple kills, but eventually LAG, they find themselves in a position to at least win the round, and that was just such a great play from Assault right there to eliminate Standy off of that bomb. You saw Minnesota, they were all over the map. Once you drop Standy, their setup was completely broken. They couldn't even work the bomb plant towards the end, so LAG are able to finally get on the board. Down to 4-1, they're able to slowly bring this back. It's all about just shutting down that pressure, because right now Minnesota, they're playing really aggressive. You need to slow this game down and at least open up with that first blood, because Minnesota is dominating in that category so far.
Yeah, absolutely dominating in first bloods. And one thing that they also may have to be aware of, that being the Guerrillas, is that Attach sits on 5 straight. So we were talking about streaks, what players are on them. Something to think about. Attach, the first player to expire some fire off the rip. Damage done, hit markers found, but this very well could be a free plant for LAG if they play their cards right. They do have Attach laying down the lead toward middle, but looks to be a free plant if they're able to get a little bit more map presence. Again, it's Major Maniac toward tree, but it's the arc push from the other side. A nice headshot to start there from Silly.
Good first blood coming in from LAG, so now they have themselves a man advantage. They know that Major MiDNiTE is going to be towards this back jungle. It's all about just focusing these other two players. Unfortunately, Standy's able to take down one, but he's immediately traded. They find attached. Now it's all left up to Major MiDNiTE. They know the positioning, and LAG, they take advantage of it. That's 2 rounds straight for the Guerrillas. I love that. That was a great play. That was the same exact play that Minnesota got done on their offensive push towards A. Once you get there, you take control of laundry, you eventually work that bomb plant, and the good thing about them is that they opened up with that first blood. So every gunfight at that point is going to be in your advantage, and eventually they capitalize on there. 2 rounds in a row for LAG staying alive in this game.
Yeah, and this is the swing round already. I mean, again, if you're LAG, what a great sequence this could be. Bring this game back. As we said, they shut down attacks, they shut down everybody, but more specifically, off of the streak that Dylan Price found himself on. Number of different ways, LAG finding themselves in good positions, and arguably the best for a moment was Assault. He does lose his angle that he had. And that is going to be a quick bomb down for RØKKR. They get out, and now it is all on to the retake from LAG. They talk constantly about their retakes, how great they can be in these positions, and this is going to be one of the more difficult ones. As Priest is able to drop Mental for the first blood. Assault quickly there on the trade. Into the 3-on-3, but time continues to fall off of the clock. We'll bring Major MiDNiTE out of the fight. Apathy is going to fall, but Assault's there for a potential trade. He's able to win that one as well, and that could be the Guerrillas. Silly gets the kill, and that will be the retake successful. It was a 4-on-4. RØKKR got the plant and got out, but not even that was enough to stop LAG 3 rounds in a row to bring it back.
What the hell was that? That was horrible. That was horrible from Minnesota right there. You had the man advantage. You opened up with the first blood. There's only about 20 seconds left. Even when Apathy, you find this kill into Apathy, you allow Assault to get 2 right here. Like, this doesn't make any sense. At the same time, Major MiDNiTE, he peeks that top window. That was your safety net to get the guy off that bomb. But when those players go down in sync, that is 1 round right there that you're going to be thinking about. We should have been able to close that one out. And now LAG, 3 rounds in a row, find themselves back into this game, man. Minnesota just choked that one.
I mean, I'll be honest, when it was 4-0, I was kind of writing things off. I was already looking at, okay, what we got for game 3? What's the control going to be? But my goodness, as you said, LAG, what in the world did we just see? I mean, I guess you could say more in case for the RØKKR. How did you let that happen? Breathing new life. Now we're within 1. A quick split for the Guerrillas off the start. 2 players toward one side, 2 toward the other. Apathy with the side plant. That one's going to be successful. So we talked about retakes. Now it's going to be RØKKR's turn. But Assault sits in a great spot. Nearly laid down some fire onto attach. But it's Major MiDNiTE there with a great cover fire. Now a 3 versus 4. Apathy just trying to get as many visuals as he can. Again, this is strictly inside a mansion, a similar spot to what we saw last time around, but how about the spot for Mental? How about the spot for him? Really just trying to make his way behind the setup, but he is now going to be the final player alive. Trying to stay up, trying to stay alive. What a clutch this could be for Billy Mental. Trying to dodge the fire. Major MiDNiTE knows exactly what he's trying to do. If he would have taken down Standy there on the bomb, that would have been the round for the Guerrillas. It could have been 4 straight. But it's Major MiDNiTE who's there to get the read. Well-deserved of the best play of the round, the one that keeps it in the hands of Minnesota.
Yeah, that one almost got scary right there because that play out of Mental, it could have worked out so much better if his teammates would have just stayed alive towards bedroom. But unfortunately, he finds himself in a 2v1. He knows that the clock is not working in his favor. Eventually, Major MiDNiTE was able to solo him out, and Minnesota win the round. So now they find themselves at game point on another attacking round. They might just go back to what works, which is that aggressive A push. You're going to force Silly to back up as he knows the pressure is going to be here. And eventually, you want to work another quick plant because so far for Minnesota, their quick plants on offense have been working out for them.
Let's see if we can work yet again. I was going to say, do we see Assault and Apathy try to challenge through pillars, or do they make their way around Art? Appears the pillars push was the right move to make, and now they've got the entire backside of the spawn prepared. So Art is going to be in LAG's hands. Meanwhile, player 3, that being Silly, the only player toward the opposite end. Inside a jungle, 30 seconds on the clock. That's a big kill there from Priesta. Evens things out now at 3-on-3. Also takes down Mental as well. We talk about Priesta constantly, how he can be the X factor. And that is an X Factor type of round. Finds the hat trick and will lock up this S&D. It looked a little bit scary there for a moment. Guerrillas started to fire on back, but oftentimes in retakes, we discussed LAG, how great they have been, but Priesta finally just said no. Finds 3, and as we mentioned, seals the deal, now evening the series at 1-1.
And that was a good search and destroy, good bounce back right there out of Minnesota, because obviously they started up 4-0, but then towards the middle of the game, it got a little scary as it got all the way to 4-3, but then they were able to chain 2 rounds back to back to be able to close it out. And that was just another great offensive push right there out of Minnesota. LAG, it's like, if you fool me once, shame on you. If you fool me twice, shame on me. And that's exactly what happened there. It was the same exact A push that Minnesota tried to get done in their first offensive round. And it was another man advantage that went in favor of LAG, but they tried to send 3 through Art and have Silly hold on the backside of Raid, and it wasn't really working out. That was 2 times in a row where that setup just didn't work, and that's what you're just thinking about. That roster change, S&D, they need to work on it, and right there, it definitely shows.
Yeah, only 3 kills for both Mental and Apathy. Your SMGs just not having the greatest of performances, and I know that when it comes into S&D, your SMGs always aren't going to be defined with SMGs, but at least more of your aggro players not putting up the performance that you'd like. But now we're going to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. We're taking a look back at round number 4. What, Study? Break this one down for me, my friend.
Oh, this is the quickest round ever. This is when Minnesota decided to just be super aggressive in towards Raid. Standy was able to find 1, and then eventually the team shots coming on to the second. And this is just a great blind counter right here out of Minnesota. They knew that LAG, they were shutting down that B push nice and early. Eventually, they're going to have to switch it up. And they played it perfectly as they put the aggression in towards Raid, get all 4 kills without anyone dropping. Great search and destroy overall from Minnesota.
As we said, got a little bit scared, but Minnesota able to dot the I's, cross the T's, and lock this one up. It was a little bit scary for a moment. They dropped the hard point, but they answer back in a solid way. It is 1-1 as we've got Raid control up right after the break.
Just like we both predicted, IKON. I mean, every cut back, hopefully, hopefully not cut back into the pre-show here or the co-stream here, is just like we thought. Hey, we got the hard point. You know, RØKKR's probably going to win these respawns, and they might drop a surge, and they might win 3-1. They still can win 3-1, but RØKKR loses the hard point. Wasn't pretty. And then, you know, that Raid S&D it was fun to watch. It was a little bit of shaky moments, that clutch that they ended up getting. Who got like the 2 or 3 piece? Well, we were on. It was by Apartment. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was crazy.
The one to win that round where we were to go 5-2. It was Assault. Assault pushed forward, got a 2-piece, yeah.
Dude, Assault's playing well today, man. Shout out at him. Dude, it's the nerve-wracking, though. I mean, we were able to do it. They are Guerrillas are a very good search team, so the fact that we're able to win pretty handily, got a little scary in the middle there, but we're able to finish strong. And now, I'm just excited because now we're going to Raid. We're going to be going over to Control Raid. That's like our bread and butter. At least it was. We've been playing a ton of Garrison lately. We ended up playing freaking Checkmate. I don't want to talk about that on LAN. That was weird. How we ended up playing that Control. I mean, maybe just trying to get experience, but it's just like a weird. The Major's a weird time to get experience on a map. So yeah, we're back on Raid Control, the bread and butter. Let's see how it goes. I think, you know, knock on wood that both of our predictions of the 3-1 will still come true. And I know we had quite a few people in the chat as well saying that that we would win 3-1. Whoever guessed Priesta to get first blood was definitely right. He does this thing, like I try to remember where all the guys go, but Priesta definitely, when they start on offense like that, he'll go to Zig, he'll pre-fire through the wall, and he tosses a nade, and usually the nade doesn't kill anybody, but like I think in the match just now, obviously, and then in the phase match that happened as well. Like he's got it down. So how people are still trying to run through that is a little overwhelming, or a little questionable to me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys run flak jacket, so all you have to do is just hit one bullet, and then with the nade, you're gonna end up finishing that kill. One thing I did want to point out about that S&D, it was 4-2. We had that round on offense. After we got the plant, we were able to escape back and be top apartments. That's a strat that you see Atlanta FaZe do all the time. And once you get Celium or Arcities up there in top apps, it's really tough to end up winning. Actually, that was the same exact strategy in the last round that they were able to win in that map 9 against Dallas at the last LAN. But once you're back there, if you're in Mike's position and you're up top, I think just what happened is obviously you peek the bomb, and then you kind of make sure that, you know, you're not peeking or your head's not in the way, and you just count. You have that internal clock, you know, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. You don't want to go 10 seconds before checking again. So I just think that clock was going off. It had been 4 or 5 seconds since he checked the bomb. He peeked back out. Silly was waiting for him, had to have hit 2 or 3 headshots directly in a row, and then pair that with Assault's 2-piece underneath. I would say that happens maybe 5% of the time. Like, it's really odd that you would actually end up losing that round after getting bombed down and being in that situation. But hey, sometimes it happens. If Mike's able to get away with his life, he can get his health back, he can peek again in 5 seconds. They'd have to be on bomb. They wouldn't be able to defuse. So maybe an unfortunate scenario situation there, but just like everybody predicted, it's 1-1. We're going into control on raid, which we're super comfortable on. So should be 2-1, just like, you know, back on track like we thought it would be.
Knock on wood, Icon. I'm nervous now after the 2 opposite days for the first 2 maps. Yeah, it was. I mean, at the end of that surge, it was awesome to see Priest getting a gnarly 3-piece. He was just peeling caps off of head glitches. It was awesome. Let's see if they can take that momentum here. Same map, different mode, control raid. We'll see you guys after this.
You mentioned control was actually pretty good. I mean, LAG had been kind of relying on this mode while S&D has taken a hit, and Hardpoint, as we know, has been out the door. And then for the Minnesota side, they've been great at control for the most part. So this is a very defining, I guess you could say, map and mode in regards to how this series is going to come to an end.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. You can see the early pressure from Minnesota coming in towards that 8 point. They just want to get this one done and dusted. MiDNiTE's able to find one, Priest with the second, attached with the third. So that's going to be an early 3 down.
All right.
Now it's all about just staying aggressive, trying to pick up a couple more spawn kills, and they're doing a great job at doing so. Already 2 segments captured on towards this 8 point. They're going to be able to extend this time by a minute, and they have already a 3 live advantage, forcing all of LAG to basically turtle up in their spawn. Just keep in mind that number 3 player in Silly does have bedroom control. He's just leaving it all on his teammates to win these gunfights on the back end.
And the problem for RØKKR, as we mentioned, if you're Guerrillas and if you're, of course, you're just joining us, control, we talked about how it can work for LAG. They have the preferred position, right? They're going to be spawning literally right in this area. So if you're Minnesota, you can't really afford to drop too many players. You have to try and be in the spot to take down multiple waves at a time. And that right there is the perfect way to do it. 2, now make it 3 in a row. Off of spawn is Apathy, but all he can do is just give callouts, pretty much being the Paul Revere, saying, hey, the RØKKR are coming. And my goodness, what a great turnaround that Apathy has. Finding 2 in a row, and now 2 players only sit now left on the point, standing inside of Tiki. MiDNiTE is working on that post game. He should be sniffed out quite shortly. A great return as MiDNiTE does find the first. Apathy has got to go for the challenge. A much needed win and somewhat of a sweat off the brow situation for Guerrillas. As already into it, it's RØKKR once more at this B point.
Yeah, Minnesota did a great job of just eliminating Silly out of that bedroom area. So now that allows them to get pushed up on the front side of this point. The first segment is going to be in. They only have 1 person on it. So if a little stack comes in, it'll go a little quicker, but they're just trying to pick up these kills. Priest is doing a great job at finding 1. Kills going back and forth. Still, the second tick hasn't come in yet. Danny, unfortunately, is going to get some bad timing there. Assault with some great shots to find last 2 players. Now, map control is going to go in favor of LAG. Minnesota now have to work out of their spawn.
And again, Assault just putting up some wonderful, wonderful kills. As we said in that Hardpoint, absolutely took over for the Guerrillas to snap that 12-game losing streak in HP. And while sits at 5-5, you cannot argue anything about how influential his kills have been. Standy does get the better of him, though. With 40 seconds left, that is already halfway through for Minnesota. It's a quick 2-on-2 into the point. Right now for LAG, they've got to work on somewhat of a retake. That's going to be 2 ticks in. Mental goes for the challenge, but he gets dropped. Standy for a moment lays down the trophy, but it's the cover fire. Make it 3, make it 4. RØKKR in style. Close out our first round.
Just such a great round right there from RØKKR. When you talk about the way that they started off that round, getting a nice early 3 dead, extending time by a minute, and then just the pressure that they had on that map. Even when LAG responded and got a clean 4 dead, they still had bedroom control. They still kept control of Art so they can rotate through the middle of the map and eventually fight through Kitchen. And that was just great work right there out of Minnesota. That's why they have a positive record on this map, because they know what they need to do in every situation, and they were able to close out that round number 1.
Great performances all around. You got 7-4 for Priestahh and Attach, 8-4 for MiDNiTE. I mean, obviously, standing goes -1, but it is a good sign for RØKKR. If your other 3 players outside of standing are having a great performance, that oftentimes will utter some sort of conversation in regards to consistency, as MiDNiTE is taking down players left and right, underneath the van, on top of a van, wherever you may be. He's ready to hunt shit down. By no means a similar start. How the first round of control went for Minnesota, a much more slow-paced one for LAG, and the reason why is because they're constantly getting beamed, constantly getting shut down, and with Priestahh on the flank, that only makes their lives that much more difficult.
Yeah, so now they have to focus on players coming in from both sides, but which player from Minnesota is going to focus on these spawn kills, as Mental is able to find one, Apathy finds a second. Now it's all about locating Priestahh. Apathy as well is going to be able to take him down. So now they're able to finally get on towards this 8 point. You just have to keep track of where Standy is. They are able to spot him in towards top Art area. Eventually the capture is going to come in. So now you see Minnesota. They're going to give this up. They're going to fight through bedroom. Just try to keep control of that. Trying to take map control away from LAG as this 8 point is about to get captured.
Load steady wins the race. LAG, pride and true, finally are able to lock up A. And like we said, not as much time, but still a decent amount to work with. 1:40 on the clock. Them to try and break open this B point. Priestahh sits in a major spot right now for the RØKKR. He drops, and that could easily open up some things, but he finds the first kill onto Assault, at least get some assistance fire in toward Mental. And with that, the LAG push not nearly as strong as they would like it to be. And off spawn once more, Priestahh continuing to be a problem. Sits at 11-6.
Yeah, Minnesota right now, they just have so much control of that bedroom that players are not wrapping back trying to contest that. They're trying to push through the middle of the map and push around the backside, but Minnesota picking up every single kill. So now it's going to force all of LAG to fight out of their spawn. They are on it at a 4 life disadvantage with a minute left. Just so much map control right now going in favor of Minnesota. LAG just need to get one good team push going, but every time that happens, Minnesota player continues to find the kill, make it 2. Now LAG have to hit the reset button once again.
And just great coordination, as you mentioned, from Minnesota, just to continually put themselves in a position to either trade or honestly just take the entire team fight themselves. Few shaky shots there from Mental. So look to take down MiDNiTE. That's 1 to start, but again, putting themselves in positions to trade. Great spot there for Priestahh, as he can just not be taken down. Literally called the flex for this team, and for good reason.
Oh my.
Krig or 74U, it does not matter. Now 6, make it 7. There's some streaks. And well, also, this one does not look good for LAG in round number 2. Round number 3 could spell disaster, as they've got, what, an artillery barrage to deal with, and maybe even a cruise missile as well. There it is, 2-0 to start for Minnesota. And like we mentioned, they have got some streaks to work with throughout the remainder of the game.
And if you're LAG, that round has got to be super frustrating, because you couldn't wrap back towards bedroom because Attach had that positioning the entire round. But then every time you were setting up a T-push to go around the back, it wasn't like there was multiple players shutting it down. It was Priestahh single-handedly just shutting down that push. If someone could buy a trade onto this guy, it's probably the opening that they were looking for. But Priestahh, he was able to put a couple kills together, eventually earns himself some streaks, and now Minnesota find themselves up 2-0 on the offense with a full stack of those kill streaks in his back pocket for Priestahh. LAG, this is going to be hard, man. You need to try to force Minnesota to use these streaks early.
Priestahh going off 18-6 on the 8 spree as well. It's just a matter of, can Guerrillas fire back the quick R push, but that's going to be the 9th, and how about the 10th in a row? Double digits reach for P-Dog, and he is challenging from long range. Does not matter. As we mentioned, 74U from range, the Krig up close. Nothing makes sense anymore. How about this start from Priestahh? Finally gets cut down, but it is going to be the 8 point that has to be sacrificed. What a wonderful start once more for Priestahh. Again, the big conversation coming into this series was the role swap. Was it going to come in? And so far, Priestahh, as we said, living up to that title, and well-deserved of being the flex. Krig, 74U, going off right now in this control as LAG once more put in a problematic spot. 2 minutes now to defend. I'm trying to hold off this 3-0 sweep in control. And here comes the streak.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time until this streak was going to come in, because you saw the positioning out of Attach as he's able to find one with that streak. Attach finds the second, so now the stack is going to come in. Priest is also going to invest the second streak as well. They're going to try to close this out here. That's going to be 3 down. LAG had to try to get into this play because it's going super quick. Minnesota might be able to do it here.
And they do. Good night. Put them to bed. Minnesota with one of the more dominant controls that we have seen in recent history. And the majority of that was all due to the plays of Priesta. Wonderful performance coming through from him. Outstanding in this control. It was a slow start in the respawns. We talked about could that cater into control, and not at all the case. RØKKR have officially woken up. What a commanding advantage they now have, 2-1. Instead, as we mentioned, LAG, our point, they had to rely on it in their first game. They finally snapped the streak. Now they're going to have to rely on winning 2. After losing 12 straight, they have to rely on 2 to get them at least to a game 5.
It's going to be a difficult task, man, because the way that Minnesota played right there, you can just tell they woke up. Everyone was hitting shots. Priest went on a 10 spree, absolutely taking over the game. But even as SMG players, with the amount of pressure that they had on that map, there was nothing that LAG could do. Every time they tried to at least open up with 1 kill, it was immediately traded. Such great teamwork right there out of Minnesota on that map number 3 to put themselves in an advantage up 2-1. Now they're going into a checkmate hard point where both of these teams don't really enjoy this map. On one side, LAG is sitting at 2-6. On the opposite side, Minnesota at 3-6. So it's going to be a great game 4. I don't know who's going to take it, but hopefully we go to a game 5.
They said it's going to be a tall ask, a very tall task for LAG to try to send us to a game 5. Minnesota feeling good. That's 2 games in a row. Can they make it 3 straight here in this series? Put themselves in a great spot to start off stage 5. We will find out. This is Hardpoint on Checkmate right after this.
P-Dog in the building, Icon. Oh my goodness. What was final KD? He was at 1.20 to 6.
21-7.
Jeez. That's an insane stat line. He literally was just having his way. Like everywhere he turned, just boom, 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 laser. It was insane, dude. So that's the type of thing that we need to see, right? Like it's kind of the whole mantra that we've been saying all year. Like we don't need just one of our players to go off and to win, because that's never a recipe for success. But if that player can be Priesta and he can be that dominant, it sure makes it easy. But it was definitely an all-team effort. I mean, we just wiped them off the map for the 3rd map, Control there, which was a little bit expected. That's our strongest map. But I mean, what were the other impressions there? Was that just the case of RØKKR being super solid on that map and LAG being unprepared, or one or the other? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. In my opinion, I think that map 1 was our first, match setting in a couple weeks there. So I think it just took the guys a few minutes to get going. And then now we saw them pop off in the SND on raid. We saw the same thing in the control. One thing that I will say, and we talked about this during our offensive rounds, after we got A, we like to see, actually it was Priesta and Standy hit mid and get into kitchen. So we had 2 go over towards jungle, 2 go mid towards kitchen. And once you have control of kitchen, now all of a sudden they can't get into money winnow and shoot down on you as you're trying to capture B. So it just looked like it was more clean gameplay overall. And when you have somebody that goes 21-7, he has streaks, it's going to be tough to win after that. So guys played really well. And just like we all said, right, we're right on board here for a 3-1, even though map 1 and map 2 might not have went the way that we thought it would have gone, but still. Go into Hardpoint on Checkmate. This will be an interesting map. I said in the pre-show that I think this was a little bit of a coin flip. It's just one that we don't really look very good on, but neither do they. They're 2-6. We're 3-6. Last time that we saw this, I think we lost by 70 against Optic. So who knows? This could be just another possibility here of, you know what, let's go ahead. We don't play this map very often. Let's get another rep on it and see if we play it better this time than we did when we played it against Optic the last time.
Yeah, I mean it does worry a little bit because LAG just looked so good in that first map hardpoint. Like we couldn't really get anything going. No momentum was spinning our way. But I do agree that maybe they're just, you know, they're a little cold. I mean, it's no excuse, but they're a little cold. I mean, they're obvious. Priest is warmed up for sure. I think the rest of them are too. So like, I mean, geez, man, if they could just beam like that, I think Major Maniac's been playing super well this series too. Like, I mean, you said it like kind of while we were watching, like our ARs are going off, and that's exactly what you need. I think to be successful in this league, like yes, it's great to have, you know, solid submachine gun player play. It's imperative to the objective, but if you can have solid ARs, geez, man, it's so tough. I mean, some of the best teams in the league, you got Toronto, who I think they have probably the best 2 ARs in the league, in my opinion. Florida's also a kind of a sleeper. Obviously, FaZe is insane. So I think, yeah, like they're looking good, man. I want to keep seeing this. Let's keep this up. Let's keep this momentum. And this is a match. I mean, I don't want to say like we should win without trying, but like this is a map and a match that we should win and we need to win. I think if you look at the rest of the group that we're in. So I think, you know, going into this checkmate, I'm a little nervous because checkmate hardpoint has not been good to us all year. And we just had that recent L versus Optic Chicago, and it was bad. It wasn't even really close. So like, I don't know. I guess, yeah, if I do think like it's curious as to why you would pick that, but I mean, this is the series to try, you know, maps maybe you're not very strong at and just kind of see, you know, give a new look, try something new, get a rep on it. And, you know, maybe Guerrillas is thinking the same thing. Maybe they're like, dude, we're rough on this map. We got to try to improve. Let's see how we can do it. So I'm stoked. I want to see P-Dog frying just like he was. Let's see what they can do, guys. Let's hope that I don't think anyone in the chat predicted a 3-2 for either team. So let's hope we're all right, guys, with a 3-1 prediction and we can take this map. IKON will be back after this to break it down.
Putting up the numbers though he would have liked, but what's been your take so far from his performance and how you think he could fit into obviously LAG's chances of trying to force that game 5?
Well, so far, watching him in this series, he's playing okay. Like, he's keeping his pacing up to a point. But him and Apathy, they haven't found that consistency between each other yet. So that's why in that last map, they just simply got destroyed. There was just too much pressure from Minnesota, at least from Attach and Standy on the map. So they weren't able to get anything going. So you just need them to get more on the same page so they can work around each other more, keep up that pace, keep up the aggression that Minnesota have right now to match that.
Yeah, we discussed how often the importance around the SMG line, that duo in particular, has caused many roster changes, many role changes as well. It's RØKKR to start firing away a nice few early points, but it is the Guerrillas that do have those preferred spawns for P2. In just a moment, we will be taking a look at the top right side of your mini-map. And as we said, Guerrillas just looking to try and dance their way, try to keep things even, trying to defend this one for as long as possible, keep it somewhat vacant, but finally, the doors do come crashing down. RØKKR will be grabbing the points, but take a look. Somewhat of an unfortunate spawn, but something that could work out. Apathy does spawn out for a moment. Assault looking to try and hold on to the line as Priesta has made his way on into next. So we're talking about spawns. Continue to take a look at it because, as we said, LAG, they are not here. They're just as much in the race as the RØKKR are. And they're currently getting the time as well. Only 3 seconds to LAG's name. Assault finally handles the problem that is Priesta. And that very well could put them in a much better position, but it's overall numbers favoring RØKKR as Assault has to get here.
Assault, once again, man, he's the only player in the backside, and right there, Minnesota just puts so much aggression between the SMG players, winning a majority of those gunfights towards the ending of that P1 that spawned a couple players from LAG across the map, and then eventually it was all left up to Assault. Way too many players from Minnesota in this position, so they were able to flip these spawns and chain that P1 to that P2 perfectly. Not getting a good chunk of time here, but still find themselves with the remaining 15 seconds, as now LAG have to be fully set up for that P3. You cannot allow your teammates to drop off the rotation, because that is what cost them right there. And you see Priest with some great shots, able to take down Assault, which allows his teammates now to get pushed up through plane. They're already here on the next hardpoint.
Oh my goodness. It's not, you know, the streak necessarily. I know Priest had that crazy streak in the control, but I mean, he is just firing, man. He just feels good right now with the Craig.
Yeah.
And as we talked about, checkmate can literally be a playground for your AR players, even for your flex players. But finally, LAG able to hop inside of a hill for what feels like the first time in a long time. RØKKR starting this one off well, trying to walk away with their third map in a row to lock up this series We'll go and step on aside and go to an Astro listening with Minnesota.
Long on me, long on me.
Doc's naming.
One is long
I
corner.
need heal.
Long corner on me.
I have your dogs.
Take your time if you can.
Long.
Alright, take your time, Mike.
Yeah,
Keep
I'm on
going.
top.
I have your
Let's run
shot. Could be
P2 or
top
blue.
lane.
P2 or blue.
My
I'm going top lane.
I have your mid lane, Mike.
my
I have your
ASD.
mid
I'm not
lane.
looking at it.
Yeah, one's tube.
I have top lane.
He's ASD on me. I'm one shot.
Tube, Justin. Oh,
Top
top lane.
I'm buying him top lane.
I'm top
Ready
lane. You
to
go. Cubby.
One's new.
Silly
Top
one
lane
shot,
dead.
low
You're dead.
bit.
Doing cubby.
Viewing one shot.
Okay, you got cubby.
Low viewing one shot and on new. Weak.
I'm laying over. Pushing up.
Low pillar. No,
I don't
he's
think
on
low
the
being
pillar.
silly dead.
I'm
Assault
getting
top
top lane.
spawn,
I'm
Eli.
getting top lane.
Heard you.
I have your top
One
lane
across.
push. I'm waiting for you
I'm
guys.
pulling our side. I flashed him.
Low plane.
I'm with you,
Low
Preston.
plane and a sold off
Oh yeah,
spawn.
hold our side. I'm with you. I'm gonna go low plane. I'm holding our side, please.
Low somewhere.
Yeah, low wing.
Go, someone. You
Top
want
lane, our
to
side,
double
keep
shot
on
our
our
side?
Top lane.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
one shot. I'm one shot.
Our side dead. Our side dead.
Yo, tube.
I'm
Go,
going
go,
top
go,
lane.
go,
Top
go,
lane.
go. One on time.
Much
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
Okay.
last guy time.
Dead.
Last guy time.
Nice.
I'm
Make
blocking.
sure
I'm blocking.
Yeah,
I'm
pushing all
blocking.
the way. I have right side too.
P2 cross. He might ASD.
He might push me out.
One more ASD, Preston.
Heard you.
Eli, have your
Flashing
Charles. Eli, have your Charles.
Heard you.
Eli, stay in that corner, okay?
I'm looking a little
Yeah, one step.
I'm like no showing. I'm no showing.
Mental
going
no
that side.
steps. I
Mid
think
eyes
it's two
open.
gun playing.
You want to challenge side?
Yeah, it's Charles.
Trying to get
you new. Yeah, go Charles.
Challenge.
One's viewing.
Okay, I'm trying to
Top
get
lane. I have mid alley, Eli.
This side, half dead.
I have a cross.
Going near, going
Oh,
near.
he pushed you already.
One shot. There's two there. I have the cross.
I go radio.
He's not on it yet.
Nice.
We're missing one.
Let's go. Look at that pass. Get that pass weak. I would help.
Nice.
Eli, stay pushed out. Eli, stay pushed out. Mike, I'm playing top exit. Yeah, get exit. I'm helping him left.
Flash
One's
on your
pushing
front.
you, alley. One's pushing you. I have your alley.
Two alley. Top lane and alley.
I have your close left.
I can see exit. I can see exit.
Yeah, I have
I'm
exit
gonna
now.
be playing.
Exit
Eli,
down.
Hill.
Dude, look my left. Look my
Okay,
defense.
I have a trophy for you, Hill.
My exit. Oh, which one? I'm sitting on front.
I have your front.
Well done. Good comms and overall just great control of the game so far. I don't think there has been a hill yet where they have not had favorable spawns. Or at least if they didn't have favorable spawns, they didn't quickly turn the tide of that. They got a little bit scary toward the start of P5, but they turned that around instantly, and they're already up over 100 points. And we're in the first set of rotations. There you go.
Yeah, LAG, they're just playing from the back for this entire time. That's going to be another 4 dead. All 4 players spawning out towards back blue, which is going to allow a couple Minnesota players to get early push up in towards plane. Right now, LAG are just playing from the back foot. This is so hard when you're in this cycle to try to break in, but you just need to have a good response, at least off this P1 hard point. But that's going to be another 3 dead. Minnesota, they woke up. They're on point. They're picking up every single kill. They're up 140 points already at the end of this first rotation of hard points. It's only a matter of time until they're able to close this out, man. They're playing so good right now.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, when we talk about that first hard point, I mean, how much of it do you think it was LAG playing super well versus RØKKR maybe coming out slow, now looking at it a second time?
Yeah, they definitely came out a little slow, but you can just tell LAG definitely showed some improvements there because simply off the rotation from that P2 to P3, that's something we usually never seen them able to chain it ever. So the fact that they were able to do that definitely shows that they were able to get some improvements, at least in this game mode. They just found themselves in a sticky situation. Now you see Minnesota, they were able to flip the spawns once again. So now LAG on the back foot had to get this remaining 15 seconds because you just have to try to get closer, try to rack up as much points as you can. But right now, Minnesota are 100% in the driver's seat.
Yeah, in the driver's seat and looking to take the plane to a nice little resort maybe once this one is over in celebration, because this is going to be a very tall task. Attach. Okay, he basically gets his aim brought instantly down to the floor. Assault has himself a little bit of a Hulk smash type of moment from the top side of the plane, but 212 to 61 LAG. I mean, you just look at the mini-map. It is going to be difficult to just try and get past the 50-yard line without getting tagged up, but double nades will shut down Major to start, and maybe this could be a sequence for Guerrillas. But just as we say that, that's going to be 3, make it 4 down. Back to the drawing board for the Guerrillas, back to the start of their spawn as Standy enters into his second 5 streak of the game, 23 and 11. We've talked about a number of different guys so far from Minnesota who've had a good performance. Attach at times, Priest has taken over, and now it's Standy's turn over double positive and is not looking back. That's going to be another 3 down, and that will be the final nail in the coffin. Minnesota answer back well. A 60-point hardpoint game in regards to keeping the team to that low of a total. A great performance in our last 3 as RØKKR get the job done.
They get the job done, man, and with ease, too. On that map number 4, they just dominated. Like I said, throughout the entire map, they were just winning all their rotations. They were early all to the better spawns on every single one of these hard points, and even towards the very end of those hard points, when they needed to flip and pick up those kills, they were doing it beautifully. LAG, they were just playing from the back foot that entire time. It's good that they broke that hard point losing streak in that map number 1, but you went on to lose 3 maps after that straight. And it's just difficult, man, because we've got to go back and talk about that roster change for LAG, man. Chino was their number 1 guy statistically throughout all of Stage 4. And you could just tell if he was on this roster right there, probably a little different performance on that map number 4. But LAG, they find themselves in another loss. Now they have to try to be able to bounce back, and it's not going to be easy because when you have that roster change, you have to work on everything. And right now, that's what they need to do.
And that's what's really hard, I feel like, about the Guerrillas, again, because obviously you lose this series with how they're trying to work on a number of different things, and I think you bring a new player into the fray, it almost kind of starts that process over again. So now in the situation where a few teams are making roster changes coming into Stage 5, a lot of teams trying to turn the tide, and for LAG, you sit in that 9th spot. You're really hoping to have a really solid stage here in Stage 5 to possibly break into that champs region. Of course, our top 8 making it to champs, and just another unfortunate performance here for them. They start things off well. They break the hardpoint losing streak, but after that, they pretty much fell short. I mean, what was 4-0 to start in the S&D? I mean, if RØKKR maybe doesn't lose pace a little bit, that very well said could have been a 6-0, 6-1 type of performance. So we maybe look differently at the S&D. It was a 3-0 in control, and like again, it's a 60-point club in the hard point. So really, just I don't really know how to say it exactly, but really just not at all performing up to the level that we thought they would after the first hard point. But now we're going to take a look at our scuff play of the game, and you can really just pick a number of different highlights really throughout this checkmate that stuck out. But it is Minnesota just causing problems and causing issues early in the rotations from P2 to P3.
Yeah, so this is towards the ending of that P2. So Attach found 1, and then Priest finds that 2nd, which is a huge engagement because then eventually it allows his teammates to push up in towards plane. He picks up kill after kill, and then eventually they were able to flip those spawns on their head, forcing all of LAG to spawn out towards back P2. Like I said, Minnesota from start to finish of this hardpoint, they were playing perfect hardpoint, man. Picking up every single kill, winning those rotation gunfights, and then just keeping the aggression on. The SMG players really played well, staying in Attach, both going positive, basically 10. They really just set the pace right there. And LAG, they just couldn't respond, man. When you're playing from the back foot that much throughout an entire hard point, the score line is going to look like that. And Minnesota, like we
legitimately, just like we've all predicted, was a 3-1 victory. The first and second maps were flipped. I'm worried that they came out so cold on that hard one. It did not look good, but boy, did they make up for it there on Checkmate, a map that we have struggled on. I know LAG has struggled on it too. I know LAG has struggled all year, but it still feels good to come in, and we're talking about, you got, I mean, yeah, look at the groups here, guys. Look at the rest of our opponents. We got Empire up next.
No, that's their schedule.
I'm sorry. Toronto. I was going to say, I think that's incorrect. Never mind. Sorry, I can't read. Yeah, I'm completely reading this wrong. But, I mean, look at the other teams in the groups. Regardless, we're going to end up playing these same teams, just not in this exact order. And, like, this is one where you got to win it. And what you don't want to see, I mean, it's always good to get a win, but what you don't want to see is your team come in and beat a team that they're supposed to, but they barely eked it out, or it was an absolute struggle and they just barely got through it. That's not what this matchup was at all. Yeah, the map 1 was a little rough, but dude, did they turn on the heat? Priesta played insane. Major Maniac played insane. Attach was looking really good. Standy had some influential plays. And that's what we talk about all the time of the team needing to do as we ramp into the end of the years. Everyone's on the same page. So I kind of love to know your thoughts either from that hard point or just the match in general here before they're going to interview a player. So let's make sure we watch that. But we'd love to know your thoughts before then.
Yeah, I think just looking at the map, it's definitely the best and the cleanest checkmate hardpoint that we've seen all year. We started that map not having good spawns. We were instantly able to flip. Once it flipped at the end of P1, we held P1 and we were able to flip, and LAG only had 3 points. So we flipped, we held P2, we were competitive there, and P3 owned P4, and then we also held those spawns for P5. It was a perfect hard point. Like if you went back and looked, the only time that LAG got inside a hard point was during scrap time. And then into the second set of rotations, we instantly flipped for P2, and that's essentially where the map ended up ending from there. So a really good map 4 there. It was nice to see the guys come out and play Checkmate well. Yes, the map 1 came out a little bit slow, but again, a couple weeks off, you're now, you're back into a match environment. So took them a little bit to get going, but once they did, the map 2, 3, 4, each one of those maps, they just absolutely popped off. And I will say that I saw a couple people talking in the chat. I do think that there's something to the mindset that when Priesta plays really well, I think he's kind of the fuel for the rest of the squad. I think if he comes out and he has map, look at him there on screen.
I'm so happy, bro. I love the good vibes right now.
if he comes out and he goes 21-7 and he pops off like that, I think the rest of the guys just fall in line. I think it provides a ton for the squad. So awesome seeing that. And ultimately, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, starting off stage 5 with the victory, getting us another 10 CDL points to build on our lead there in 6th place. And we'll see what the rest of the stage has in store for us.
I mean, God, you hate to go into your first match of the stage with a must-win attitude, but man, that was a must-win, bro. Look at all the other teams in the group. That feels good. And like I said, to win in a dominating fashion always feels better. Like you gotta, if it's a team that you should beat, you gotta go hard. So I couldn't be more excited. Like I said, all the guys seemingly firing on all cylinders, with the exception of Priesta just going above and beyond. He looked especially on that 4th map there, Checkmate Hardpoint, he looked like the Kool-Aid man, dude. He was running through walls full speed and going through them. It felt like every gunfight he took, he won. Every time he pushed up for better positioning, he won the next one, and so on and so forth. He's not the typical sit somewhere and beam people AR. Like, he's aggressive, and I think that's what this team needs, honestly, especially on a game like this. So big happiness today, man. I'm just, man, that's just exactly what you need to see, looking ahead at the rest of stage 5 here. So I'm excited too. We just saw the guys on camera, right? Priesta, Major Maniac, they're smiling, they're having a good time. And obviously, things are good when you win and they're bad when you don't. That's obvious. But I think this time of year especially, you want to start getting those wins. You want to build that momentum together, those good vibes together. Listen, I'm a big vibes person. I'm not going to say that good vibes will win you champs, but it certainly can't hurt. So you love to see that. So it looks like they're going to be doing the interview now here with Priesta. I want to make sure we don't miss a second of it. So let's bop on over to the CDL broadcast to hear the interview with Priesta, and then IKON, and I'll be back to kind of break down what's next for Minnesota RØKKR.
Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Hello everybody and welcome to your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Joining me this time I have the one and only Priesta from Minnesota RØKKR. I gotta say, man, congrats on the dub. That was pretty epic. And we mentioned on the show today that it is so important right now for the fight to champs, and more importantly to get into that top 6 for the winners bracket. I want to know, how important is it to you guys right now and your goals to get into that bracket?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. Being in winners bracket for champs is, going through losers is never easy, so you definitely don't want to be there. And I believe we're in the 6th spot right now, so we just got to keep winning and make sure we're progressing and just staying in that spot at least, if not trying to progress higher than we are now. But we definitely don't want to drop into 7th or 8th, so we're putting our all into everything right now.
Love that. And as you said, you are trying to get a little bit higher than that 6th spot, and you have previously been top 4. You guys are a solid team. You've had some bumps along the way though, of course, but what is the team's focus right now in this last push before we get into champs?
Yeah, we've been really focusing on hardpoint. We're kind of revamping the way we played hardpoint. They started off hot. Assault was doing his thing. He was going off. So yeah, we've just been revamping our hardpoint a little bit, just talking about how we want to play certain hills, certain rotations, and just really focusing on hardpoint, but just also at the same time keeping our other game modes good as well.
Love to hear it, man. Now, you do have the Battle of the North yet again on Sunday. What is the game plan to take down Ultra?
Same thing, just keep putting in work, keep progressing, and the stuff we need to know, we need to work on, and just go out there and do our thing and just study what they're doing, obviously in S&D, and just try to counter some of their plays or just do whatever, just be prepared.
Love it so much. Thank you so much, Priesta. Congratulations and best of luck going forward on stage 5.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
There we have it. Minnesota RØKKR sealed the deal with a pretty decent dub and a great victory as well.
Let's go. You love to hear it there from Priesta. Definitely, like, you know, coming in, doing their thing. It has to happen that way, right? I'm loving the vibes of the team. And I don't know, do you have any impressions, Icon, from Priesta's interview there? Kind of anything he touched on?
Yeah, I just like the fact that they're aware of they're in 6th spot right now. And there's only, well, before this match, there were only 20 points separating them and LA Thieves. So if you have a bad stage and LA Thieve turns things around with the addition of John, then you fall into that 7th spot or that 8th spot. And now all of a sudden you're basically starting champs and losers bracket. So I like the fact that they were aware that this is not the time, even though, yes, we're going to champs, we're not going to miss it, whatever, like we've basically qualified. Even though all of that is true, just making sure that you're keeping the foot on the gas, making sure that you're focused and taking these matches like a match against a team like LAG, who most people, you know, would have predicted them to be, that they're better than, just taking these matches seriously and using it as an opportunity to focus up and get better and prepare for the rest of stage 5 and champs.
Yeah, honestly, it has to happen this way. I think you got to come out hot versus a team you're supposed to beat. And now a team you can beat, but it's not supposed, you know what I mean? Like this matchup against Toronto on Sunday, man. Sunday, July 11th, 3:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll be right back here with another co-stream for the match, of course. Battle of the North going down. Looking at how we played today, obviously it is against LAG. They're one of the bottom 4 teams. They're not looking so hot. But coming up against Toronto, I mean, this win has to give you a bunch of momentum going into that game.
Yeah, I definitely think that it gives you momentum. And if you're looking at the top of these groups, so Group A and Group B, I think if you're looking at Atlanta, Optic, New York, Dallas, Toronto, like those top 5 squads, I think you have to be super comfortable having Dallas and Toronto on your side. I think both of those squads are super good. Obviously, they're in that 1 and 2 seed for a reason. We just saw what Dallas was able to do on LAN, but that was on LAN. They hadn't had the same success with this roster online. So we'll see if there's a parallel there or not. But if you're looking over at Group A, obviously Atlanta, that's a tough squad to beat no matter where you play them. They've only lost 4 matches the entire year. So that's a tough win. The last couple of times we've played Optic, back in stage 4, we lost twice to Optic. And then NYSL, I think NYSL could still be the second best team in the game. It's just in the stage 4 major, they didn't have a team. So they weren't playing at full strength. So if I'm looking at the position that Minnesota's in, I think that Dallas and Toronto, even though that they're really good squads, I think they're squads that are beatable. So who knows? We always aim at the beginning of a stage for trying to make it to 3 wins. Who's to say you can't get 4 or more based off of how the rest of the stage goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I even asked you, like, kind of before we came back on screen here, like, yo, low key, could we go 4-1? Like, we could. It's possible. Like, yeah. We are a good team. I don't want to, like, have us always in this mentality of like, man, I hope we can beat the really good. Nah, bro, it's that time of year, man. It's time to let's go. And I mean that I know it's against LAG. I'm getting way too hype off the purple Kool-Aid right now, but like, I do think when this team plays all together, all fire and all cylinders, you got Priesta going off. I mean, you have so much just star power potential going off on this team, not just Priesta. You can beat any of the other teams in the league. I believe it. It's probably delusional to say that, but I do genuinely believe it. Now, can you execute it every time? Is it repeatable? We don't know. We'll have to see. So we will see you guys again on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, July 11th. We're playing them against Toronto Ultra, them squirrels up north, and we'll have to see. Technically, they're not up north above us, though, because Minneapolis and St. Paul is technically like latitude, longitude, like we're more north than them. Hard to believe, but it is true. So we'll be there to play the down south squirrels, and it'll be a good time. So thank you everyone so much for watching. We will catch you guys on Sunday. We'll see you then.